My name is Avery, and I never believed in family curses. I always thought strange stories about my Uncle Carter were just that, stories. But after I got his gift, I started believing in things I can't even name. Uncle Carter died a few months ago. He lived alone, old house on the edge of town, cluttered and dusty, but full of warmth, or so I thought. He had no children, so when he passed, he left me everything: his house, his car, and a locked wooden box, wrapped in heavy brown paper with my name scrawled across it. My parents told me to take it. "It's your inheritance," they said. I smiled and accepted it, a little nervous, but excited. Who doesn't want to feel connected to a mysterious uncle after he's gone? That night, I carried the box into his old study. The room smelled of old books, burnt wood, and something I couldn't place, like iron or blood, but faint, impossible to name. I sat at the desk, under a cold green lamp, and unwrapped the paper slowly, deliberately, my heart rattling as if it recognized something far older than me. Inside was an object, carved from dark mahogany, a music box, tiny, elegant. I opened it. There was no music, just silence. Then, a single faint note, plink. The lid moved slightly, and I nearly jumped. I closed it again, my mind racing. That night, I dreamt of Carter. He was standing in his study, but the room was different. Darker, twisted. The walls were stained with something red. He looked at me and smiled, but his eyes were hollow, empty. Then he whispered, "This belongs to you now. Use it wisely." I woke up trembling. The music box was on my chest. I must have carried it, but I don't remember picking it up. Over the next few days, things changed. Small things. My phone flickered when I passed the box. My computer, sometimes in the back of my mind, I thought I heard my name whispered. But I blamed exhaustion. One evening, I wound the box again, just to test. The second I did, I felt a sharp chill down my spine. The room grew darker. A soft creak, like the floorboards shifting. I snapped the lid shut and threw a blanket over it, my hands shaking. 2 nights later, my mother called, her voice tight. "Are you okay over there?" she asked. I said yes, but I wasn't. That night, I woke to screaming, not far. Not inside me, but outside, in the hallway. I sat up, pulse pounding, ears straining. I tried to move, but felt paralyzed. Then Carter's voice came from the box, whispered, cold. "She should have warned you." My door creaked. The hallway lights flickered. I heard footsteps, slow, deliberate, walking toward my room. I shut my eyes and squeezed them shut. The footsteps stopped. Then, plink, the music box lid opened. The note sounded. A silhouette formed in the corner of my room, wavy, dark, like smoke given shape. It leaned in. I swear I saw Carter's outline, hunched shoulders, long arms, eyes that glowed and then weren't there. "Thank you for letting me in," the voice said, low, soft, as though in relief. I gasped. For a moment, I froze, but then I scrambled out of bed and bolted out the door, box in my arms, into the hallway. I didn't stop until I was downstairs, clutching the music box to my chest, tears streaming. When I looked up, The hallway was empty and quiet. No footsteps, no shadows. In the morning, I was exhausted, but I had to know what this box was. I went to the local library. I found a photo. Carter, decades ago, standing beside his sister, my grandmother, in the old study. He was holding the very same music box. I copied all the records, scanned the photo, and took it home. I opened the box again, with trembling fingers, and wound it. But this time, when it plinked, nothing happened, at first. Suddenly, the room temperature dropped. My breath fogged in front of me. Shadows stretched along the walls. The lamp flickered and died, plunging me into half-darkness. The music box lid slowly creaked open by itself. The plink came, louder this time. From behind me, a whisper. "You found me." I turned, but nothing. Then I felt cold fingers press into my shoulder. I twisted around, but no one was there. My head spun. My heart thundered. "You're next," the voice said. Terror squeezed my chest. I dropped the box. It hit the floor with a soft thump. The lid slammed shut on its own. I grabbed the box, ran to my car, and drove to the only place I thought might help: Carter's old house. It was late, and the road was empty under a pale moon. My hands shook on the wheel. I kept glancing at the music box in the passenger seat. When I arrived, the house looked darker than I remembered. The windows were like black eyes. The front door was slightly open. I stepped inside, calling his name. "Uncle Carter?" My voice felt echoed, cheap. No answer. I crept through the hallway, past the study, until I reached the old desk. There was dust, but on top, the same music box, only smashed, broken into pieces. My heart dropped. I knelt to gather the fragments. At first, I thought I was hallucinating, but there among the broken wood and metal gears was a small note, folded and yellowed with time, to the one I trust. "The gift is never finished, and neither am I." My stomach twisted. My blood ran cold. Then I heard the plink again. Not behind me, from above, from the ceiling, from the shadows. I looked up, and for a split second, I saw Carter's face in the darkness, looking down at me, smiling. I grabbed the pieces, the shattered music box, and ran out, into the night. My breath came in ragged gasps. I don't know how far I went, but I didn't stop until I reached the highway. Now I'm here. I rented a cheap motel room. I put the pieces in a plastic bag and taped it shut. I won't throw it away. I can't. I'm too afraid of what might happen. I write this for anyone listening. If you ever receive something from someone who's already dead, don't open it too quickly. Don't wind it without caution, and never assume it's just a gift. Some legacies last beyond the grave, and some don't want to stay buried. My name is Lena, and I grew up in a place most people think of as quiet, or even idyllic. My grandparents owned a huge pine farm tucked into the countryside, miles of straight, towering loblolly pines. When I was a kid, I thought those trees whispered in the wind. Now, I know better. There's something more to them. Every summer, I'd come to visit. My parents and I would drive down the long dirt road, past old barns and fields, until we reached the farmhouse at the edge of that forest. It was somehow comforting. until I started hearing things. One evening, when I was maybe 10 or 11, I was walking near the edge of the pines. The moon was silver, casting long shadows between the trunks. I froze when I heard something. Low, guttural breathing. Not animal breathing. Something human, twisted. I turned toward a row of pines, heart pounding. For a moment, I thought I saw something. A tall, thin shape moving just out of the moonlight. When I blinked, it was gone. I sprinted back to the house, skin crawling. That night, I told my parents. They shared a look, the kind parents do when they don't want to scare their kid too much. My dad said, "Probably just an animal," but his voice wavered. My mom quietly mentioned how the pines had always made her uneasy, even when she was little. Nobody ever admitted anything more. But I knew something wasn't right. A few weeks later, I snuck out again. I couldn't shake the feeling that I had seen something real. I walked deeper into the trees than before. I stepped on pine needles, listening. The forest was silent, too silent. Then I saw it. It stood between two trunks. Its limbs were stretched weirdly, long and spindly, like someone had stretched a man's body into something inhuman. Its head was too big, its snout elongated. The light from the moon hit its eyes, green, glassy, and human. Not animal, human. I gasped and dropped to my knees. It turned slowly toward me, sniffing the air. My stomach churned. I started to crawl backward, but part of me was frozen. Fascinated, terrified. Suddenly, I heard a car engine, my dad's truck on the farm road. The beast stiffened and melted back into the shadows. By the time I looked up, it was gone. The next day, I begged my parents not to send me back that summer, but they said I was overreacting. They said I was just a scared kid. That night, though, the farm felt different. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, but I heard footsteps outside. Heavy, slow, deliberate, like something big walking in the pines. The floorboards above creaked, even though no one was supposed to be up there. I told myself it was just the wind or an animal, but I didn't sleep. A few nights later, I dared to sneak out again, this time with my grandfather's old flashlight. I crept into the forest, breathing shallowly. I edged between the trees, the beams of my flashlight trembling with each step. And then I saw it again. This time it was closer. I could hear its breathing, sharp and ragged. I raised the flashlight slowly. It scanned the forest and then locked on me. Its form was more monstrous than I remembered. Long arms that nearly dragged the forest floor, a snout like a wolf's but warped, its eyes glinting, still human. It tilted its head and I swear, it smiled. I stumbled backward, tripping on a root, and screamed. The flashlight flew from my hand, and in the darkness, I heard it move, fast, like the wind, but heavy. Then silence. I ran. I didn't stop until I burst into the barn, slamming the door behind me. My heart was pounding so loud, I couldn't hear anything else. My grandpa was there, smoke from his old pipe curling in his breath. "You're safe," he said. But his voice was shaky. He dismissed it as a dream when I told him what I saw. "Maybe your imagination," he said quietly. But I know what I saw. As I got older, I dreaded summer visits. I started having nightmares, always about the woods. I'd be lost in the pines, calling for help, but all I'd hear was breathing. And when I woke up, I'd be shaking, gasping for air. I also began to feel watched, not only in the forest, but when I was inside the house. Sometimes I'd stare out the window at the trees and think I saw movement. Something tall, something waiting. Last summer, I decided to face it. I packed a bag, flashlight, camera, sleeping bag. I went into the pines just after dusk, determined to document what was real. I walked until the trees seemed endless. My flashlight cut weak beams into the darkness. The air was thick, the night heavy, and then I froze. There, not far, the shape, the beast, it crouched between the trees. I stepped forward slowly, camera raised. My hands shook. I whispered, "Who are you?" It didn't answer. Instead, it stood, stretching impossibly tall, limbs bending in unnatural angles. It sniffed again, softly. Then it took a step toward me. My legs locked. I couldn't move. Then I took one more breath and raised the camera. It roared. This time, I heard its voice. Human, but distorted. Terrifying. I clicked record. My light flickered. Then, nothing. When I woke up, I was lying on the forest floor. My camera was next to me, but the memory card was broken. The flashlight was crushed. I didn't know how long I'd been out. I dragged myself back to the farmhouse and packed. I left that night. I never told my parents how close I got or what I saw. They probably wouldn't have believed me anyway. Now, I live elsewhere, far away from those endless pines. But sometimes, I still hear breathing in my sleep. Sometimes, I feel eyes on me when I'm in a crowd. If you ever go into woods that are too quiet, woods with trees that stretch forever, be careful. Some things living in the dark are not wild animals. Some things never forget. My name is Cameron. For years, I've kept a dream journal, not because I love dreaming, but because I need to remember. What used to be lucid dreams have become something darker, something I don't control, and I don't know how much longer I can survive it. I don't write this in a notebook anymore. My journal is on my laptop. Every night when I wake up, I type. Because these are not just dreams. It started small. A few strange scenarios. Nothing I couldn't handle. I'd stand in a crowd, giving a speech that didn't belong to me. Or wade through a swamp with feet that felt like lead. In every version, I was there, but I had no idea why. The moments felt vivid, and when I woke up, the memory lingered like a ghost. Not just in my mind, in my chest, my limbs, my skin. But always at the end, I saw him. A man wearing a long brown coat. His face was hidden by mangy, long hair. His hands were Sometimes he waved. Other times he just beckoned. There was something wrong about him. Something that felt like he belonged to a memory, but not mine. My dream journal is hundreds of pages long now. But when I scroll back, the older entries, they blur together. One dream, I'm at a family barbecue in a forest clearing, night sky overhead, a fire pit burning. I remember white plastic chairs around that fire. My dad is grilling, my relatives laughing. But the faces are unfamiliar. Another time, I wake up in a library, my favorite place. But the walls are different. The shelves are too tall, too deep. The exit is locked. I'm writing on my laptop, but the words I type make no sense. The keys feel foreign under my fingers. When I try to pinch myself awake, I feel dull pain. My fingers go numb, not like when I'm just dreaming. I realize I may already be somewhere else. Sometimes I look at my laptop screen and the words warp. Letters stretch, twist. The dream journal I write in, it changes. The cover is the same, but the photos inside, different. There's a Polaroid taped to the screen, faded. A photo of people I don't recognize, with their hands on my shoulders. When I stare long enough, I swear they move. Each dream ends the same way. The man in the brown coat. He gets closer. He doesn't speak, but he tilts his head like he's assessing me. Then he waves. But lately, he doesn't just wave anymore. He runs toward me. His coat flutters behind him. His hair flies. His steps are unnaturally fast. And his eyes, when I can see them, are hollow, desperate, as though he's not just calling me, but begging. Last night was the worst. I tried to resist. I refused to let the dream take me. And I saw him, emerging from the fog. The man. He reached for me, his long fingers closing around me. I screamed in the dream, a scream that felt real. When I woke up, I was lying on my bedroom floor, drenched in sweat. My laptop was open. The screen flashed with new text, but it wasn't mine. You're next. Now I'm not sure where I end and the dream begins. Sometimes when I close my eyes, I feel my skin peeling. When I open them, I'm still dreaming. I don't trust the mirror anymore. The reflection is wrong. My arms look too thin, my hair too long. Sometimes I think I see him behind me, but when I turn, no one is there. Everything hurts, like memory itself is tearing me apart. This is the last thing I write, because soon I'm going to let him in. I don't know if I'll wake up again, but I need someone, anyone, to know. If you read this, listen carefully. Keep a dream journal, but guard it. Don't ignore the shadows in your sleep. And if you ever see a man in a brown coat, don't wave back, because he's been waiting for me. And now he's finally coming.